I talk to a lot of Oklahomans that say we'd love to hear some good news every once in a while. So let me just pause for a moment and to read a couple of headlines and give some good news. One of them came out of the Oklahoma legislature and out of our research branch dealing with our finances. Oklahoma revenues are up to the state 20% higher than what was expected. Now, for folks in this chamber that don't know what's happening in Oklahoma, our economy's been down for a couple of years. We're struggling through some serious issues as a budget. For our revenue to be up 20% higher than what was expected was a surprise, but a welcome surprise. And it's a real sign in the turnaround in the Oklahoma economy, and it's very good news for a lot of people. But I'm grateful to also say it's not isolated news. This is happening nationwide with a real turnaround in the nation's economy. I don't often come to this floor and quote the New York Times, but let me do that today. The New York Times, just a couple of days ago, ran the headline, "We ran out of words to describe how good the job numbers are." This is just the first couple of paragraphs of their story. They said the real question in analyzing the May job numbers, the May job numbers released that week was whether there are enough synonyms for good in an online thesaurus to describe them adequately. So, for example, splendid and excellent fit the bill. These are the kinds of terms that are appropriate when the United States economy adds 223,000 jobs in a month, despite having been 9 years into an expansion. And when the unemployment rate falls to 3.8%, a new 18-year low. That's from the New York Times. They've run out of words to describe how good the economy is nationwide. This from CNN. There are now more job openings than workers to fill them. Want more evidence that the American economy needs more workers? For the first time in 20 years, there are now more job openings than there are people looking for work, and that came from CNN. The strong economy that we're facing shows that we have a 44-year low right now of people pursuing unemployment insurance. People out there looking for a job that have lost a job. 44-year low nationwide. 3 million new jobs have been created since November of 2016. There is a job opening for every jobless person in America right now. During the height of the recession just a few years ago, there were 6 people looking for work for every 1 job open. Now, there is at least one job open for every single person in America. Unemployment falling to 3.8%, the lowest in 17 years. Consumer confidence hitting an 18-year high. There have been remarkable turnarounds that have happened. This is a nice, strong, steady increase in our economy. What the Federal Reserve is always afraid of an overheating economy moving too fast, has not occurred. It's just been steady growth, new individuals in the labor force participation, and on top of all that, even for those individuals that are currently employed, right now, the average wages have increased in America 2.7%. So for the individuals that are employed, wages are going up. For individuals that are looking for jobs, there are job openings for every single American that wants to be able to have a job. And unemployment rate continues to drop to a 44-year low. That's good news. That's the ability for the American economy to be able to run again as it was designed to run. Quite frankly, when the tax reform bill was debated at the end of last year, there were a lot of people saying, is this going to work? Will it really encourage the economy to grow, or will it be a sugar high, is what I heard on this floor, of just individuals just rushing to be able to spend money and then it all falls away and collapses. What it's shown is month after month since the tax reform passed and it's been implemented, businesses are hiring, people are finding work, wages are going up in a steady amount. There's been the opportunity to be able to start new businesses. We've seen real growth, whether that be in state revenues like in my state, whether it be for individuals around my state. We're seeing real progress. That's a benefit. Now, I encourage people to keep going. There are a lot of things still to be able to do in our economy. And I'm grateful that recently the national survey that's done every year on the best places in America to be able to start a new business listed in Oklahoma City #1 of all places in the country to be able to start a new business. a place where it's business friendly. That's true for my entire state, where people are welcome to be able to come and to start new businesses, to be able to engage and to be able to find a job, and to open up and find new opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, my state, along with many other states, have started rolling out from the tax reform bill what's called the opportunity zones, looking for areas of the state that is not growing as fast as other areas, and providing incentives that was built into the tax bill to be able to say, let's designate areas, working with the state leaders to be able to identify what area there can be greater investment. And in those particular areas, for people to be able to find jobs, start new businesses, open new businesses. There's additional incentives to do that. And we've seen that continue to be able to roll out. 46 states so far have designated opportunity zones, and they're already rolling out even today. I'm grateful for what's happening in our economy because it's not about numbers and statistics. It's about individual families that have the opportunity to be able to find work. A friend of mine at church recently lost his job. What's interesting about that is, 8 years ago, I had a friend of mine at church that also lost his job. But it's so different now versus then. 8 years ago, a different friend that lost his job came and caught me, and he talked about the desperation of looking, and there's nothing out there. Now, a different friend that's lost his job, that's in transition right now, is talking about the opportunities, and that he's not in a hurry because he's got so many options in front of him. He may start something, or he may join somebody else. That's a good thing. That when those moments of crisis come, you have opportunities and hope to be able to transition to another place to be able to take care of your family. I would encourage us to continue the work on our economy. One of my favorite stories that's come out in the last couple of weeks out of the newspapers was one in the Wall Street Journal, where they were talking about this economy and talking about hiring, and they mentioned specifically that many companies are having a difficult time finding new workers, and so they're pursuing a group that they would not have considered a few years ago. They're looking to hire and train felons. These are individuals that have served their due to society, that have been in prison and have finished their term and they're out, and they just want another shot. This economy is growing so fast that many of those individuals are getting their next shot to start life all over, because companies are reaching out, training and hiring people that even have a felony record. These are individuals and families that don't need a handout. They need an opportunity. And thankfully, they're getting it in this economy. So whether it is companies in Guyman or whether it's companies in Hugo, companies all across my great state, people are finding opportunities to be able to work. And I'm grateful for that in a growing economy.